the mic.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Pez and Port Show. We have an exciting show for you today. I know all of you want to know, like a pre-draft, what to expect. And today we are going to show you a draft in the Pez and Port Fantasy Football Redraft League, which is using the exact same rules as the Bowl. And of course, we are welcome here with Martin Helldam. Nurse,
What's
how are
happening,
you?
Paul?
How are you today, Nurse?
I'm very well. Are you feeling healthy today, Pork?
I'm doing all right. I'm going to try my best to lead you through an exciting episode. And I'm happy that you are here to give your insights. You always have some good things for the people to hear. Last year, if you remember, Pez gave some great advice. And welcome to the show, Pez. Dr. Pez, I should say.
You all right, mate? How's it going?
I'm going, hey, I'm excited to be here. It's another episode, and we get to talk about how great our teams are compared to other teams, of course. I'm excited to hear about Helldam's team. And, I'm sorry. Is that Haldane? Yeah, sorry, Haldane.
It's Haldane, but it's fine.
But I would like to remind everyone that last year, Martin was on our preseason show, and he gave a few tidbits. And if you had listened to him in your draft and followed his advice, you may have had one of the best records in all of Orkney Bowl. And then, of course, just choked and lost in the finals, as Martin does. Martin, you feeling confident this year?
I'm feeling confident this year. Hopefully things will break a bit better for me. But sometimes, as they say, sometimes the beauty is in the attempt.
The beauty is in the
Attempt.
The attempt. I got it. And Pez, are you intentionally showing us some of your tats today?
No, I'm just hot. So
You're looking good. So. You're looking like one of the Bosa brothers on the 49ers.
Don't know about that.
Hat backwards. Yeah, with your tats looking good. You got the beard going. Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
You're looking good. So today,
I've not dyed my beard.
Our list. Yep. Go ahead.
Oh, Luke just asked if I've changed my beard colour, but I think it's the light in my kitchen. Still dark, nice and dark. A couple of greys in there, but we're all good.
I like it. I like the new style, except for, of course, I thought you were going to wear a University of Arkansas jersey or shirt or hat. You told me that you ordered one.
I've got one. I've got a.
Well, if you're not going to use it, you should just put it in the mail and send it to me.
You know what? I might just do that.
Yeah. I'll wear it on the show next time.
You'll get it in 48 days.
Yeah. Well, as late as Pez is to the show, you're probably accurate.
I do like to be nice and late.
So, Pez, are you drinking a bit of what beverage are you sipping on this evening?
Pepsi Max, seeing as it's
Pepsi Max. And Haldane, what do you have?
Well, I've obviously gone for the opposite, and I've went for Diet Coke. So come on, the Diet Coke.
A Diet Coke. Excellent. I'm going with water.
Yeah, fuck off. Where's the pint?
What the?
I might put a little honey in there. Well, I don't know. These backgrounds you can't see yet. Anyway.
Can I just quickly say something? Pork
Yeah, go ahead.
gave me and Martin a pep talk before we came on this show, saying we've got 15 trades to get through. We've got to talk about everyone's team. No one ramble.
Oh, yeah, we
We've been
should
on for
follow that
5
advice.
minutes.
That's some good advice,
Yeah.
Pez. I appreciate it. Yeah. So today might be a bit of a lengthy show because we have a lot to get through. As you heard, Pez, we have some trades, and I think we might discuss some teams, obviously, and some insight. And, of course, we might discuss a few other random topics. I think you're going to really enjoy this episode, especially if you are in the Orkney Bowl, because this is a redraft league and you can kind of have an idea of where players are being drafted. Johnny, let's kick it off. Let's do the first trade. All right. Here, we got Pork's smoking sauce. Delicious. Receiving round 2.11 and round 3.02. And we have the Puddle Chicks receiving the 1.08 and the 4.05. This did have a bit of controversy. Martin, let me have it. Tell me what I did wrong.
Well, like I said at the time, I don't think you did anything wrong per se. Like I said, I think you gave up maybe slightly too much. But at the end of the day, I think if you want something to happen, I'm always willing to overpay slightly on trades if it's something I really want and believe in. So, like I said, if you're happy with the outcome, I don't think you overpaid per se, like a lot. But if you're looking at it just from totally neutral point of view, I think Pez was obviously happy with what he got in the trade.
So, Johnny, I'm not sure if you have it or if Pez, you have it. Who did you draft? I know who it is, but if you can tell me, who did you draft at the 1.08?
I read your mind. I've just got it up. So the 108, I got CD Lamb. So
CD
first
Lamb.
2 rounders.
Wow.
Is
you're breaking
Jamar
my
Chase
heart.
and CD Lamb.
You're breaking my heart. And so that obviously is a solid pick, I think, at 1.08. Wouldn't you agree, Martin?
Oh, definitely. I think that's a steal. Like for me in the Orkney, I think obviously you've kind of got Chase like by himself as the number one, and then after that, I think it's between Lamb and Jefferson. I mean, if you want to take a running back, you've got Bijan and Gibbs, obviously. But for me, you could see Lamb going as the second pick. I'd be tempted to take Lamb at the second pick. So I think to get him in the 8th, that Lamb pick was a really good pick he got.
I think so. I think I would agree with you. So far, Pez is certainly getting the advantage in this trade. In the 2.11 pick, I will tell you that I drafted A.J. Brown. So it's the team I hate, wide receiver. A.J. Brown is on my team. And the team that I love, CD Lamb, is on Pez's team. Is A.J. Brown like miles behind CD, or can it be close enough? What do you think, Pez? Are you satisfied? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'd rather have CD over AJ Brown. I was just looking at your 2 second-round picks, and the thing is, without bashing you, you kind of had your hands tied because CD Lamb, Neighbours, St. Brown, Puka Nacua, and Brian Thomas all went one after another. You had your hands tied, really. So you've gone for the safest wide receiver. That was next.
I was hoping for Brian Thomas, to be honest. I was thinking Brian Thomas might last out until the end of the second round. That was what I was thinking, to be honest with you. But it did not happen, obviously.
And to give everyone who's listening, Pork messaged me and said, do you fancy doing this? Just spice things up a little bit so it's something we can look through the season. So it wasn't just like Pork just had too many drinks one night and came up with some like crazy
I
shit.
did do it for content, to be honest. You're right. I thought it would be interesting to follow through the season to see who won the trade and what players we picked with the trade picks did the best. And to just finish off the trade real quick, I picked Jackson Smith Najiba in the third round with the 3.02. And in the fourth round, Pez picked Kenneth Walker. So basically, it's CeeDee Lamb and Kenneth Walker for A.J. Brown and Jackson Smith Najiba. Knowing that, Martin, you will have the only vote today. Who has the best? Who came out on top?
Well, I just want to go back to AJ Brown quickly because I will be very quick with this, but I actually think you've got AJ Brown, in my opinion, is one of the best values in a draft right now. He was on pace for 1,400 yards before injury in a season where Saquon had 1 billion carries. So I think AJ Brown at the end of the second is going to be one of the best values you can pick up this season. And where he's going, it makes it easy to stack him with Hurts if you wanted to do that. So I actually really like AJ Brown there. And you got JSN as well. So I think it ended up kind of even, actually. I don't think there's much between it. I think it's more taste than anything, which one you prefer. So, like I said, I actually don't think even the trade, I don't think you overpaid that much. So I do really think it ended up really even.
Yeah, I'm satisfied with the trade. I probably wish I had CD versus AJ just because I'm a Cowboys fan. But I am certain that Pez is satisfied because he has his favorite player, Ken Walker, and CeeDee Lamb. So I am certain Pez is satisfied. Johnny, I'd be interested to hear what the comments are saying about the trade. So please, anyone that has an idea about the trade or an opinion, please make a comment. Yeah, so Luke has mentioned that he likes the AJ and JSN over Lamb and Walker. All right.
Luke would just go against anything I do anyway, so.
See, my thing is that I am really high on CeeDee Lamb this year. So that is the thing. Like, I think CeeDee Lamb could be the wide receiver 1 this year if things went right with Dark. So that value of getting like Pez shouldn't have been able to get CeeDee Lamb that late. So that it wasn't the trade that made that, it was CeeDee Lamb falling that far.
That's right. But money well spent for Luke saying that I won the trade. Thank you, Luke. All right, let's go to the next slide, Johnny. The next trade, we have the ball-bashing chicklets. Joe Hodson received the 9th round pick of the 11th and the 15th to the Meat Sweats. James at 22. Pez, I think James is one of your buddies. Is that right?
Both of them.
This is just another episode of Pez and Pork, and it's Pez going, "Oh, look at me and all my friends. I've got loads of friends."
As he is trying to make his pick in the charity bowl. The charity bowl
every episode.
We're live on YouTube, man.
I've already done them. They've been and gone.
All right,
that's steamroll through. I did it before. What I'm doing, I'm getting up the players who they got. So Joe got Colston Loveland with the 9th round pick.
Okay.
And then James got Micah Parson with the 11th round, and then Xavier Legette with the 15th round.
All right. Yeah. Wow. All right. That's good quality, I think. Martin, I think the Meat Sweats, I mean, Colston Loveland as a rookie tight end in a redraft, you cannot expect another Brock Bowers season from tight ends in the rookie season, right?
So,
I like
some context. Just some context. He already had Trey McBride and TJ Hawkinson before he picked Colston.
Oh my!
In a league where it's a tight end premium, and you've got all that crazy madness that Johnny puts in there with yards, equal points, and stuff. So.
Okay, so maybe with a tight end premium, having a third tight end could benefit. Martin, what do you say?
Well, for me, like I've said, it's one of those ones where I personally don't like the trade. just personally. But I get why he's done it because he obviously really wanted Colston. That's what this trade's all about. Because I've looked at the draft board as well, and he's seen he was there and he was going to go before it got back to him. So he's traded to get him. And so I'm not going to kill somebody, even though I don't like the trade. I'll never kill somebody. Like he wanted that player, and he gave up what he had to get him, and you always respect that. Eh? So from his point of view, you love the trade. I don't personally like it, but I see why he did it. Like he's before the draft, he said, "I want that player no matter what," and he was going to go before he reached him, and he's made the trade to get him. So he's took his shot. Let's see if it works out.
Well, I would just like to remind everyone that I drafted Micah Parsons in the 5th round last year in the organization. So, hey, great value in almost the 12th round this year, right? Good job, Meat Sweats.
Last year was fun.
It was. It was a great one. So I'm curious about Leggett. And, you got Ted McMillan coming in. Is Leggett the forgotten first-round receiver? Or is he going to, with Bryce Young's maturity, with him showing signs last year, is Leggett in the 15th round a great value? Or is that just a wasted pick? What do you think? Pez?
No, I like it personally. Ted McMillan's got all the making of becoming a great wide receiver in the league. I think Leggett has a bit of an advantage with having the year with Bryce Young going through the downs and then the ups at the back end of the year. In the 15th round, at the end of the day, in the 15th round, I think it's a decent one. They're so deep in the wide receiver room in the Panthers that you can't really see where they're going to go. But in the 15th round, I'm just trying to find James's team so we can have a look. So he's got Mike Evans, Rome Odunze, Jaden Higgins, Rashard Bateman, Adam Thielen, Jalen Royals, and Torrey Horton. So he's stacked at wide receiver. Adding Leggett, I don't see it being a problem personally.
Yeah, it's icing on the cake at this point. Take a flyer. It's a solid pick. Martin, what are your thinking? What are your thoughts here?
I'll be honest. I'm kind of you have to. See for me this year. I'm more instead of targeting guys I like. I'm more just out on guys I'll never touch. And the Panthers 2 wide receivers, the rookie and Leggett, I'm just totally out on them. Thielen, who he actually drafted, Thielen went after Leggett. I would have much rather just had Thielen personally. Especially in Redraft.
Wow. Thielen. I would have been agreeing with you last year, but as the season went on, I'm just going on what I remember. I think Thielen the second half of the season last year, he did not perform well.
Yeah, but that could just be an age thing. And if that late in a draft, if you're just getting a guy that's good for the first 4 games, you're taking it. You know what I mean? If you injure your first 4 games and then you're fine, it was a 15th round, 16th round, whatever he's going.
Yeah. For me, I like the Colston Loveland pick, but he's a rookie tight end in the Bears, which has never had a 4,000-yard passer. Caleb Williams did not have a great season. Just preseason analysis, I would give Meat Sweats the advantage hand down. It's not even close, really. But, of course, we have to let the season play out, and maybe the chicklets will prove me wrong. Yeah. So I think we've heard that there are 2 for the Colston Loveland side with Martin and Pez. And I am the only one that is going with the Meat Sweats. Johnny, let's see what we have next. The moment we've all been waiting for. How badly can we shit on your team? Yeah. So let's do it, Johnny. Who do we have up first? We have the vision and hair, the hell damn teams. At quarterback, he has one of Pez's favorites, Jalen Milroe, which I was hoping to draft him that round. But you sniped me. Baker Mayfield in the 12th round. I think it was great value in a one quarterback league. Running back, Caleb Johnson could end up being the rookie of the year, to be honest. Connor, he's not really the Terminator. At some point, he's going to break, right? DeAndre Swift has always, in my opinion, has underperformed. Rashad White is washed. Jalen Wright could be a surprise. As far as wide receivers, wow. Stop with Thomas Collins and Wilson. Tight end.
Oh, it's Tillman, not Stillman. I was thinking, who the fuck is Stillman?
I think that's supposed to be Wilson.
No, it's Tillman.
No, it's Tillman.
It's a white Browns wide receiver.
Johnny's going to shout at us because he did say, it gives any time to see any typos.
All right, Johnny, it's a Pez and Port Show tradition, and we cannot break it. So, Pez, give us your unfiltered, honest opinion on how bad Martin team sucks.
I don't like your running backs.
Okay.
Are the one that's a question for me. Like your wide receivers, you stop.
Wait. Why do you not like the running backs?
Caleb Johnson, we don't know what he's going to do.
Right.
Everyone says, he's a great fit. But the big thing there is Aaron Rodgers. It's been proven time if he just doesn't like someone, or if Caleb Johnson can't get on his wavelength quick enough, he could just be sat out. James Conner always produces, but they're not bad names. It's just whether they break or not. Like DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift couldn't execute Ben Johnson's scheme at the Lions. Is he going to be able to do it at the Bears? Or is he, again, going to be kicked out of town halfway through the season? Tony Pollard, yeah, he's all right. He's the one for now. Can he stay healthy? Tajay Spears did all right last year. I don't know. When you were drafting, I was like, what is he doing with them fucking running backs of his?
Yeah.
Well,
so do you only have 2 IDPs? That's it, really?
Yeah, that's sound. I'm not asked about that. Like I'll carry on and then Martin, you can
yeah, we're gonna let Martin justify
his
team, right?
The tight ends. The tight ends. I'm not a fan of Dalton Kincaid. Chigga Okonkwo could easily lose his job to Gunnar Helm. That's an easy possibility. And your best one I like is Elijah Arroyo, because I feel like he could carve his way out as an actual receiving role in the Seahawks offense this year.
So far, quote of the year.
Martin?
Quote of the year so far. You could have got Loveland in the 9th round instead of Dalton Kincaid. So who did you drafted Diggs over Loveland?
Yeah. So basically, so Johnny's going to give me a hand here. Johnny, can you bring up the draft board for me? Right. So this is what you call take what the draft gives you. Okay. So I'm going to be quick here because it looks like a lot. But basically what happened, right? So ignore the first 2 rounds. I always say don't make plans around the first 2 rounds of a draft because you've got no control over it most of the time. Okay. It's just where you draft. Okay. But after that, this is where you can make some moves. So right-hand side, the first 2 red boxes, Wilson and Rice. So when I was in this position, I wasn't actually particularly...
Wait, Martin. I apologize for interrupting you.
Right. Well, let me talk.
Is not this quick in highlighting boxes of white and red before you even mention the 2 of you have conspired ahead of the show to justify your shit picks.
This is
No,
why
no.
his running back room is that shit. He's already
No.
orchestrated a big speech.
Yes,
No.
he has it written and he's reading it taped next to his camera. If you look right here, it's a draft of circumstance.
No, listen, you're going to have to let me finish, okay? Because
Okay.
this isn't about the players, okay? This is what I'm saying. Like, you can put your own players into this example. The players you like, the players you hate, whatever, right? But this is what happened, okay? So it gets to Wilson and Rice, right? And these aren't guys I thought were going to be there, right? The players I was aiming for were the guys in white. Williams, Brown, and Judkins. But these guys dropped. So that's why I took them, because they were just too good to miss out on. Because these two, for me, are a lot better than what comes afterwards, okay? For me, they're worth missing out on those 3 running backs, okay? So it's not so much about the players, it's about how you work the draft, okay? So these 2 guys showed up, I changed my plan. Then, the second 2 red boxes, Swift and Pollard, right? The 2 guys I would have liked to take in here were Ridley and Golden, who I think are a great value where these 2 players got them, okay? But because of what happened before, I had to change. I had to draft running backs at this stage. Swift and Pollard are right now the number 1 running backs on their teams, okay? So this is what I'm saying. It's not about the players, it's about how you draft. So I had to adjust. So the white guys in the white are the guys that I wanted, and I gave them up because of the way the draft fell to me. And the reason why I've circled Kincaid and Baker is because these are 2 positions I punted. I said, right, I'm going to punt the tight end and I'm going to punt the quarterback. And to get the tight end of a great offense that late is a result. To get Baker that late when you're punting the QB position is a result. So this is not about the players. This is about taking what the draft gives you.
Right.
Sometimes it's not. You have to give up your ideas and watch how the draft board falls. And this is the example I came up with.
There's
I
also
apologize for cutting
this
you
is
short
also
a little bit. Wait,
1 minute,
Pez,
Paul.
I have one question for Martin. And Martin, 20 seconds or less, please.
Yeah.
If this was the Orkney Bowl team, would you be
Yeah.
happy?
Well, that's what I said at the end of this. I said it in the chat in the sleeper. I hope I end up with not obviously exact same players, but the way this worked out for me, it worked out really well. I love that punted tight end.
He's saying he's not exactly happy, but he's okay with it.
No, I am happy with it. I'm just saying you can't pick certain players. You know what I mean? You can't be like, oh, I want these players. What I'm saying is that
let me go to Pez. Pez, what do you think?
I understand where you're coming from, and it was a nice thought out delivery. It's also, in my opinion, called big braining as well, a bit, because you've got your 3. So it's a 3 wide receiver roster. You've got your 3 set there. I understand Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice started really good last year, but we don't know. So you passed up on 3 guys you highlighted there for Rashee Rice, who's still currently injured, who still currently could be facing a suspension. And I understand the theory of him. If it was a dynasty, I'd accept it. It's a redraft, so I don't really get it.
Yeah.
I don't get the excuse when you passed up on all them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, see, for me, I have Rice that high, right? So, for me, that's what I'm saying. For you, it might be a different player. This is my point. You have to kind of take the players out of it, okay? For me, I'm really high on Rice. I think Rice is going to be that good that he is worth me missing out on those 3 running backs, so, right? For you, it might be a different player. For you, it could be, I don't know, it could be T. Higgins in that situation. You would be willing to miss, you know what I mean? For me, I'm saying that Rice is worth missing out on those 3 players because he dropped to me.
That's an interesting comparison of Higgins and Rice, because Rice should be wide receiver 1, and Higgins is obviously wide receiver 2.
Yeah, so it's not so much about. This is what I'm saying. It's not so much about the players. Like, everyone's going to have. You've put your players into this situation, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Martin, to be honest, your teams are always, in my opinion, very solid. This is the most unconnected draft I have seen you in the 3 years that Pez and I have had this show. A lot of your picks, like Swift over wide receivers, 2 of them are there that you think are going to outperform.
I love those guys. I really like those
better
two
than
guys.
Ridley or Golden.
Before we move on, Johnny, if you mark down Rashee Rice, Kyron Williams, Chase Brown, and Judkins, and we'll play a fun game through the season, and we'll check on the score.
We have our trade. We have Martin's pick. This is what you get when you come on the show, Martin. Pez and I would be done with your team in like 5 minutes.
Give me 5 seconds just to answer your question, though. You did ask. I would love for this to work out in the real Orkney Bowl, just because I punted tight end and I punted quarterback, and I ended up with a tight end on a number 1 offense, and I ended up with Baker Mayfield, who's a top 5 QB. So for punting those 2 positions, if this happens in the real Orkney Bowl, I will be happy.
All right. I will look forward to seeing the progress of your team during the mid-season show, and maybe we'll have you back on to discuss it. Maybe, Johnny, you can just take a screenshot of this, and we put it back in the Week 8 show or Week 9. All right, Johnny, let's go to the next owner. Yeah. Oh, we have Pork's Smoke Sauce smoking right here. Look at that. We got Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert at quarterback. Beautiful. At the 13th and 17th rounds. Great value. Christian McCaffrey, CMC in round 2. RJ Harvey, which is going to be Sean Payton's jackknife or jack of all trades running back. We got Scatterbo, Javonte Williams, which Craig absolutely adored my pick, just to remind everyone. And Devin Hill, the new, dark horse in New Orleans that will replace Kendra Miller. We got asshole Harrison Butker that Duke reminded everyone of. Sam Laporta is my only tight end, but, hey, I am hoping that I can just go and get someone from free agency and plug in there. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. Wide receiver. I'm fairly pumped with this. We got a couple of flyers with Bryant and Johnston. Johnston kind of came on late in the season. I got Trey Harris, so one of those are going to end up being wide receiver too. Pat Bryant is showing great stuff during the training camp. Waddle at some point is going to replace Hill, right? Pickens, wide receiver 2, Njigba, as we know, Pez loves the funnel chicks. We've already talked about Brown and my IDPs. Maybe I jumped the gun with Crosby a little bit because I could have had a guy that I wanted, and Braun, I probably could have waited, but I'm satisfied with my IDPs. Overall, I'm satisfied with my team. Pez, tell me what I did wrong.
What we do every year. Every year. How many IDPs can we play this year?
You got injuries, Nate.
Just
you got injuries. And these are 4 solid IDPs that can get you 50 every week. They can get you up to 30. These guys.
Pork.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question now. How long have you been playing a Johnny Run league? How many
I need
years?
4 tight ends. Yes, I know.
Yes, you fucking do. Like, what the fuck? It's a league what Johnny creates. The tight end is like, you got to get at least 3 or 4 of them fuckers because he just plays into the hands of a tight end. The points with the yards, the extra half a point on the reception, and you've gone for fucking 1.
But he's a good one.
Yeah, he is, but fuck me. Jesus Christ. Oh,
but let's talk about my quarterbacks.
Pork, see, the thing is, right, I remember the draft happening, right, And it was there's somebody else, and we'll get to them as well. Same thing. I was really liking your draft. I was liking it so much. I thought this is honestly. I was like, he's hitting. Honestly, I was loving your team. And then the 11th round, you drafted IDP, and I was like, why on earth that early? Honestly, your team was going so well until that point. And you know what, right? I don't care how much you love Fred Warner, right?
You told me the first 11 are great, so I got 10 out of 11. That's not bad.
But listen, right? You've drafted CMC, right? Who I do agree. I think he could be a league winner. Like, I'm just not willing to take the punt unless he fell a wee bit further. But I like where you've got him. I think you've got a great value. He's worth it. But see, when you took Fred Warner, you could have took Garendo, and then all your worries are done. But no, you take Fred Warner, and Garendo goes before he gets back to you. Like that's why that killed you for me. Like, well, it didn't kill you, but I mean, it could kill you. Like you went too early on IDP. See what you've took Zach Bourne. That is where you should, like, 14th, 13th, and your team would have been. I would have been loving it.
So, am I making the playoffs? Yes or no?
Oh, you've definitely got a chance. The problem is
actually that is the question, right? Martin, I forgot to ask. Is your team a playoff team?
Oh, I really like my team, so yeah, I think so. I think it's well balanced.
Yeah. Is Martin's team? He wants to make sure we make. Don't worry, Ian. Pez, is Martin's team a playoff team?
Fucking hell! I got so lost in your team.
We'll go back to it at the end. We can go back at the end.
Yeah, we'll do that at the end. We'll do it at the end.
We'll do it at the end. Okay, we'll do it at the end. Because we should say what 6 teams will make the playoffs and what 6 teams will not, right? That is what we should say.
We'll see what time it is, and we might just do all 3 teams. Because by that point, we might be fucking.
All right. We'll go faster. So anyway, let's go to the Puddle Chicks. Puddle Chicks.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pork. So I like your running backs. I think Javonte Williams could be a steal at 9. I genuinely do. Like, people forget that the injury he had, and he came back last year, especially in a team with Sean Payton, who makes it clearly obvious if he doesn't like you or he gets disgruntled by you, he will just fuck you off. So fresh start in Dallas. I think
could be.
I think it's wilder you went Scatterboot than Javonte, because I don't buy into the hype he's going to be the number 1 in that team. He's more of the RB2, like he's more of the assister than he is the lead guy. I think he's just too big, bulky, the way he runs, the way he plays. I couldn't see him being the RB1 transitioning to an NFL style play. My biggest concern for yourself is take away the IDPs and the fun we like to have with you, getting your fucking nuts off on IDPs, is your wide receivers. We're now in a 3 wide receiver league, and I'm looking at it and going, AJ Brown, JSN, great. George Pickens, I wouldn't trust him as far as I can throw him. Jalen Waddle, I couldn't trust him as far as I can throw him. Really, your hope is Trey Harris or Quentin Johnson somehow rise into the number 1 outside receiver, and Herbert. Then you've got, if you like doing stacks, you've got your stack having, you've got Herbert and his number 1 outside guy. But other than that, you might start finding the pain of you've got to play 3 wide receivers, and you've got a lot of wide receiver 2s there.
I do.
You know what I mean?
know that. Yeah. Actually, what I was surprised that you guys did not mention, I seem to have a lot of rookies on my team with Bryant, Harris, Scatterbo, Neal, and Harvey. I thought that would be, you can't really rely on rookies in a redraft. That maybe I'll get 2 of those to,
No, I think for fantasy's changing. Fantasy's changing. If you don't draft rookies, you're not going to win, because the rookies give you value elsewhere. So that's fine. I think the only problem is if you have an injury at running back, like you really are light. But the best bit about you drafting Javonte Williams was that it gave Craig a meltdown, and that was the highlight of the whole draft.
It was. Enough on my team. Let's go to the Puddle Chicks. And that's a great team. Let's go to the next one. All right. Actually, Mahomes in round 10, I was hoping he
Right.
was going to last a few more picks, and I was going to take Mahomes. Hang on, Pez. I'm going to let's just run down real quick, yeah? Lawrence, Ward, I like those picks. Walker, honestly, I hate it. He's injury, he's injury prone. He's going to be those great, potential guys that never materialized. Judkins, I love. Etienne, he's washed. Stevens, washed. Chubb, great flyer in the 19th round. IDP, I like it. I like it. You got two, and you can, take anybody on free agency because they're about the same value. Wide receiver, yeah, I think Sutton is going to be a top 15 receiver this year. And you got Debo that could probably be top. I like the top 4. Tight end, as you mentioned earlier, it's a tight end league. I think Hunter Henry was someone you probably could have got off the waiver wire. Henry is an Arkansas alum. I love the guy, but he's washed. Theo Johnson, a great pick at 15 for a flyer, maybe a bit early. That's all I have to say. Martin, before Pez says his so he can respond to both of us. Martin, what do you have to say?
Well, we'll start with the obvious thing that's sticking out. I mean, the 4 quarterbacks is just, it's not for me, but I'm sure he'll explain it in a minute. But and the problem is with them is that of all of them, kind of the weird thing is that Mahomes was probably a good value, but see the way our draft went, he could have gone so much later, but then you wouldn't know that, I suppose, at the time. But the wide receiver room, totally solid. I don't like Debo though. I'm just out on Debo. That's just me personally. So I could be wrong, but I'm out on Debo. Running backs, actually, Kenneth Walker. Look, Pez loves Kenneth. I actually like Kenneth Walker. I'm just too scared to draft him. I'm just too scared to draft him at that high. But Judkins, I think he's going to be great. Travis Etienne is going to get every opportunity to start for the Jaguars. And believe it or not, Ramondre, it's coming out already. Ramondre is going to start the season as the number 1 running back for the Patriots. So Ramondre, for the first, 3-4 games, is probably going to be getting all the carries or a lot of the carries because the rookies, they're just saying he's not ready yet. He will lose his job eventually, but for the start of the season, you'll take that in the 11th round. A running back that's going to give you, 4 games of production probably. I mean, it's good value. I think it's an all-round, it's a solid team. I don't like the quarterback situation particularly.
But there are the 17th, 18th, 20th round.
Right. So
Pez.
What I was going to say at the start, by the end of this, bit of context, I'm currently drafting in 7 leagues. I've got 18 leagues either.
Do they all suck as bad as this
team? Probably not. And I just kind of just was by the end, fuck it. And obviously, you see Mahomes is a hedge because I just think I like that they've restocked the wide receiver room. I like Royals. I think Worthy will have a good second year. He's got a bit more consistency in the room. I think Kelsey's going to have a better year this year because his ego's not going to allow him to have a Jurassic year. He's either is finished or he's going to have a good bounce back, what's going to help Mahomes. But by the end of this draft, I mean, that many different ones that are super flex. I genuinely just thought this draft was a super flex. I just started fucking hedging. Just hedging.
You did, I remember.
Ken
in the chat box, you thought it was a super flex. So let me ask you, do you think this is a playoff team?
I think with my wide receivers, the tight ends, if Warren does what people think he's going to do, I think I really like Theo Johnson. Rookie. I will play all 3 of them because I think they'll get me great points.
4 of them.
Well, no, Hunter Henry's just in case. Whatever.
He'll
probably drop.
Yeah, Henry above Johnson. I think Johnson is the better pick, certainly.
I'm just fucking about. It's going to be great fucking viewing for the season because if Anthony Richardson starts being a bitch and starts playing to his talent, then you've got a fucking class running threat quarterback. Martin, see, this would have been 5, but Martin took fucking Milrow. So I think a
Yeah.
chance.
Yeah.
That was going to go
I
down.
think Milroe is going to be the starter by the end of the season. Yeah. So, I think Milroe in a dynasty league is 100% a beautiful pick.
And
I
people
don't
just
know
need
in
to
a redraft.
understand with Ken Walker, it is just what it is at this point. We go down with the ship, we die.
Major player, right?
Yep.
You gotta
Takes
do
our
it.
soul.
I don't blame you. And by the way, I was this close of picking him. And because I did have the pick, right? The 311 or 3.02. And I did, or I had the late third round pick before Walker. And I almost picked him. But I was thinking maybe I will let you.
The only thing you've not realised is I've not picked a kicker up yet.
Yeah, I didn't. I should
it.
admit the waiver wire is always there for kickers, right?
And Travis Etienne bounce back here.
There's going to be, there's going to be what 20 kickers available.
I just got a question for Pez quickly. See the Debo thing, like I'm so out on him. What made you pick? Like, see afterwards, there was Josh Downs, Jennings, and Stephon Diggs. For me, those three, I would take over Debo every day of the week. What made you want Debo over? Especially, I get Diggs as maybe.
How did he get Sutton at 6'11" and Debo at 6'11"?
But it's just a miss.
That's a good shot.
But like for me,
Debo's
Josh Downs and Jennings all day over Debo. I think most people would think that as well. Like, what made you go for Debo first?
Debo wasn't for me, the 6th round, right?
I don't like Josh Downs. I don't like the Colts situation. Like, it stinks. Like, the only one who you could say, I like Tyler Warren, because if Daniel Jones starts, when he was at the Giants and he had a decent tight end, he targets a tight end, and when he had Waller there, Waller was brilliant. So,
he was.
Hedging on Tyler Warren, like him, I'm not. Juwan Jennings, he'll probably prove me wrong. I just don't like him. I think Ricky Pearsall is gonna. He is who he is. Juwan Jennings. He's a wide, for me anyway. He's just a wide receiver too. Ricky Pearsall, the way he finished that season, for me, I think could easily be the one in that team, especially with Ayuk out. For me, with Debo, the thing with him is the way Jaden Daniels played. I saw his stat, and it's like a lot of his throws were on the line of scrimmage, 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, really short. Debo excels in that type of play. So I just thought, fuck it, I'll edge it. Why not?
That's fine.
Yeah, it's hard to. I would like to see the other team. I have seen better picks from Pez, and I can understand 7 rounds, and you're a busy man. And so I can see that by your Hunter Henry pick, I could tell that you were just kind of hitting the flex button and seeing what's available. Yeah.
I was just in Johnny's leagues. For me, anyway, the most success is if you have multiple tight ends, because you hit on, like, if Theo Johnson has a good year, Pat Frymouth with Rodgers, and then Tyler Warren has a good rookie year, you're getting more points out of them than any other normal league you play. Tight ends are essentially the premium, like it states, like they are the premium. They can win, like win you games you think you should lose. That's why I like getting multiple in a league that Johnny likes to put together.
All right, so I am glad we don't have any other owners on the show, because obviously when you have owners, they want to defend their teams. And we have the owners a little long. So let's go to the next team. Johnny, Pez, last comment.
A lot of the owners who are allowed in the chat are ones who'd never come on the live stream, so
yeah,
we just let them hide behind the keyboards for the time being.
All right, let's go to one of my best mates here, Luke. I love the guy. Lamar Jackson in round 3. I'll take that. MVP. He's a difference maker. Drake May could be one of those surprise hits. Running back Jamar Gibbs. Devin Chain, wow. His running backs could literally be the all-stars of the NFL, or they could all end up being on the IR for half the season. His IDP, TJ Edwards, performed well. Ulakan, I think, was a top 10 linebacker last year. Don't know much about Cross. Wide receiver with Metcalf and Rodgers. Could be. What I have heard, Metcalf is not a route runner, and Aaron Rodgers hates non-route running wide receivers, so I'm not sure how they're going to mesh together. I think Adams could have a career year with Stafford. You've seen what he's done with Calvin Johnson and Cooper Kupp and with Puka Nacua. I think Devontae Adams could have a 1,500-yard season. I do. Godwin, who knows about his injury? Jaden Reed, which one of the 5 wide receivers in Green Bay? Pittman, the guy is always pegged every year to be the top 10, and he finishes like number 30. The other 2, okay. Tight ends kind of suck. Pez, what do you think of Luke's team?
One thing I've noticed is in his running backs, he's took backups to our running backs. And I'll say right now, I'll say this little side note, knowing that bastard, he looked at Ken Walker and thought, I'm going to take Charbonnet because when he goes out, I can gloat. I'm going to take Jaden Blue because if Javonte Williams does fuck all, I can gloat. And then Judkins, I'll take Samson. I don't care. I don't know where he's disappeared to because he was here before. Them 3 picks
Luke,
were
are
so
you here, mate?
Just as a fuck you. Like
he's here. He's here.
What did I tell you? A cheeky prick. His tight ends suck ass. Like his IDPs, they're good. 3 solid IDPs. His quarterback's good. Gibson, Achan like them, but like you said, you never know.
See, the problem with Ian, you never know who in the fuck he's talking about. Is he talking about you, Luke, me,
mate,
Johnny? I don't know. He just says trigger.
He doesn't know himself.
Who the hell
He doesn't know himself. He doesn't know
I think
himself.
Ian
He
is
just chucks
triggered.
words out there.
He just says words.
Just chucks words out.
Yeah.
In a 3 wide receiver league, again, some people have preferences, but again, like DK Metcalf, I think he'll have a really good year with Rodgers. I like Devontae Adams in that Rams team, but with Puka there, you just never know. And then like Chris Gobb, it's kind of like, is he going to start struggling in his wide receiver to get 3 going? You know what I mean? Get 3 consistent ones, or I think his wide receivers he's going to struggle with the most. I'm trying to be as professional as I can as he's writing his summary in there.
Give me the truth. Lay it on the line, Pez. What do you want to really say?
Nothing. I'll save it to during the season, then I'll fucking get him.
All right. I know the 2 of you had a rivalry going there in the draft, and I thought you were going to have more to say. All right.
He came at me for no reason, unprovoked, and then that's it now.
Martin?
Right, I'll keep this short because I know we've got a lot of teams to go for, so I'll keep this short now. But so quickly, like the thing was that thing when I was going over the draft board about taking what the draft gives you, kind of thing. Luke's obviously really wanted Drake May, like he's obviously just wanted him from the start. But at some point, you've got to give up something to help your team, and I think drafting that Drake May in the 13th, I think he needed to spend it somewhere else. A player like DK Metcalf, I will through the show mention just odd players, but DK Metcalf is one of those guys where if he could drop 10 rounds, I would never draft him. I'm just so out on DK Metcalf this season. That's just me personally. I could be totally wrong. So I don't like DK Metcalf at all. And I think the tight ends is obviously going to kill him.
4th round for Metcalf, 4.12. Almost the 5th round. Not good value for Metcalf.
Yeah, it's very stat heavy. He needs Lamar Jackson, Gibbs, and Achan to blow it out the water, and probably Devontae Adams. Those 4, he needs them to like put up big points every week, and I just think it's too much to expect that every single week for all 4 players to just smash it. But we'll see. But for me, this is my first toilet bowl team.
Last
I think
thing
it's
on
all
it,
about the IR.
his team name's shit.
Stay healthy. Pez, sorry, what did you say? I walked all over you, Nate.
His team name's shit as well. It sucks as bad as his team. It sucks as bad as them tight ends.
I have so many things that I can say right now, but it's all about your mother, so I'll just keep quiet. Anyway, Johnny, basically, Martin and Pez have shit all over Luke's team, and it thinks it sucks, and they're glad that it's not their team. Luke, I think that if your guys stay healthy, and that's a big if, you have a lot of injury-prone guys, and you have Jaden Reed that is an up-and-down guy. You never know what week he's going to catch fire. And this team could drive you crazy or end up being the winner of the whole thing. I think your tight end is going to kill you. I think your tight end is going to kill you. All right, let's go to the next. All right. The Blackfish with Danny Lawrence. Joe Burrow, obviously, number 1 quarterback. Brees Hall, okay. Rest of running backs suck. Andrews sucks. Britton Strange, I think, can be a top 10 tight end or even a top 5 tight end. Great pick in the 13th round. Wide receiver, okay. Yeah, Juan Jennings at wide receiver number 5 in the 9th round. Yeah, a flyer on Burden. Strong wide receiver room, but again, there's questions. Is Penix going to be able to perform with London? Is Nakua going to stay healthy? Is Worthy going to grow? Is Juan Jennings going to perform like he did last year? Burden as a rookie with O'Duns as a rookie, second-year player. Palmer sucks. IDP, I don't really know any of these guys, but Bobby Wagner, but he's like 55. Pez, your thoughts? Good analysis, Martin.
His running backs fucking so fucking horrendous. Really bad.
Yeah.
Even if Brees Hall has a bounce back, I don't like any of the others.
Brian Robinson in the 7th round is pure wow. But Craig had a purpose. He said he would not draft the running back until round 9 or 10. I mean, Danny was trying to draft running backs.
I think for me, I've just had
Pez, if you can get off the phone for a second, let's talk about the wide receivers real quick so you can finish your part, yeah? What about the wide receivers? Is it strong enough to overcome the lack of depth in the running back room?
No, but I think what the wide receiver room gives him is potential. It gives him potential trading for running backs. Like, I think there's enough names there. Like Luther Burden could be anything. Like Josh Palmer. Where is he now? Josh Palmer. He's moved, hasn't he?
Where is Palmer? Is he?
Bills. So Josh Palmer,
right.
He could. I really like Xavier Worthy, even from his long gone days. Like the Super Bowl showed it. Like, I know they were getting blown out, so it's a bit like fuck it, whatever. But everyone needs to get past this thing that he's just this vertical deep threat. Obviously, he's really quick, so yeah, you would like to play him, but he can play all over the place, create. He can catch and miss. He can do everything. He needs a bit more trust to not just be left on the outside and go and burn people. So I hope, like after what he put up in the Super Bowl, they might look at that and just go, okay, he actually can do more than just run straight. that's it. So
Right.
if that is the case, Drake London I like him this year with Penix. Puka Nakua always puts his points up.
So yes or no? Are the wide receivers that strong enough to overtake or to make up for the lack of depth in the running back room? Yes or no?
No.
Martin.
On the paper, no.
Martin, I am curious about your opinion, but I would prefer that you start with the tight ends, then go to wide receivers, end with the running backs, if you don't mind. Let's change it up a little bit. I'm really curious of your opinion on Brenton Strange as well. Yeah?
Yeah. So for tight end, he's obviously drafted Mark Andrews, which is, I get it, it's a star name and that. The way the ordinary scoring works, though, is that you want a guy that gets volume rather than a guy that's a red zone guy. So in normal circumstances, Mark Andrews is a great pick. But because in this scoring you want more volume, Mark Andrews isn't that guy anymore. Brenton Strange could be that guy. Going to the wide receivers, taking Devonta Smith that early, I think what happened is that Mixon went the pick just before, and I think he would have took Mixon. But because he went the pick just before, it's been a bit of a, right, I'm going to take my next player that I've got here, wide receiver. But the running backs that went after him, Caleb Johnson, Connor, Montgomery, Aaron Jones, like, I think these would have been better picks for his team. It would have made his running back room stronger if he took one of those running backs instead of Devonta Smith. Going to the running backs, Jordan Mason and Tootin, they just went too early. Like, again, guys that went after these guys are like Ramondre Stevenson, who's going to start games for the Patriots, and Najee Harris went after these guys as well. And it's like, Najee Harris, who knows what's going to happen with him? He might be in a timeshare. And the quarterbacks is what it is. Like, he took Joe Burrow and then he just took a backup for his bye weeks. That's fine, you know.
So are the wide receivers strong enough to make up for the lack of depth in the running back room?
Yeah, I don't know to make up for the running back room, but I do like his wide receiver room. I'm pretty sure he wishes he didn't take Devonta Smith and he took a running back instead, probably. If he stays injury-free, he'll be fine. That's the thing. If he gets an injury, that's the problem. He's going to struggle then, maybe.
All right. So the Blackfish, we have it. I think it's a consensus from the three of us that we don't need to talk further. This is not a playoff team. Johnny, let's go to the next team. The Quandre Pigs. I love the name here. It's very clever play on words. Jaden Penix, love the quarterback room, to be honest. I think he perhaps would have benefited from one more veteran starter. Gianti, Taylor, Cooks. Wow. I'll take that running back room. Kicker, yeah. Bengals kicker is always good. Kelsey, likely. Go there. Tight ends, solid. Wide receivers. All right, here we go. Okay, IDP. 7th round. Zaire Franklin. Okay, sure. Martin, what do you think?
It was one of these ones where I like this team as well, and this IDP's far too early. It's just far, far too early. Like, if you look at the draft board, he took Zaire Franklin, and the next IDP didn't come off the board till the 10th round, and it was his pick. So that's the problem. Like, and then after he took Roquan Smith, that's when an IDP train did start a wee bit.
Wait, is this James? Yeah, James B. This is.
So that is the first thing that stands out, is the IDP was just far too early. But you know what I mean, that happens. Cook's, like, I actually really like running back room. Like, on paper it's great, but where he took Cook, running backs that went after Cook, who I would take, are Brown, Judkins, Kamara. Like, these guys I would have took. And I think if he'd known, it's hard now, obviously it's easy looking back, but he probably could have got a stronger wide receiver instead of Cook, and then he could have got.
Right.
Sorry.
Let's talk about what he has, not what he should have done. Yeah, we're not talking.
Yeah, but that affects his wide receiver. And basically what I'm saying, instead of taking Cook, he could have took a better wide receiver, and then he could have got somebody similar to Cook.
Yeah. I think Cook, he was, I think, running back number 4 or 5 last year. That's not a bad choice. I don't know if he's big enough to do another year like that.
The
Judkins,
problem with Cook is that it was all touchdowns with Cook. That's the problem. Like, he's not going to score that many touchdowns again. It's very unlikely.
right? Ty J in the 13th round, but you got Pollard as well. This is another one of those. I'm sorry, Luke, but like a Luke team. He has a lot of. If Taylor is, the 2022 Taylor, wow. If Evans returns to 1,200-yard Evans and not 999 with another catch at the end of the game, yeah, who knows? Pez, your opinion?
I'd just like to say, when we were talking about that trade with the other James, we've got 2 Jameses. I read the wrong James. I read James B's wide receiver room. No, there's a James B and a James MC. So
right.
I messed them up. When this team comes up, we can revisit it and all that. But yeah,
right.
It's the wide receivers again. They kind of like it's a lot of hedging. You've got Mike Evans at safe, and then every single pick after it's a hedge. For me, the 7th and 10th round in the IDPs, Franklin's a great IDP. Roquan Smith's a great IDP, but far too early. Jaden Daniels. You always talk sophomore slump. I think he'll be fine to just keep on rolling, getting consistent points. I love his running back room. I think his running back room's great.
Yeah.
If you ask the question, can his running backs help his wide receivers? Because it's a 3 wide receiver starting roster.
Right.
They might not be able to, but I feel like they could help put a dent in some of the shortcomings at wide receiver, or if he does start struggling and looks at it, he could use it as a trade piece to then get himself a wide receiver one of some caliber to help balance his team out a little bit. But I like Kelsey. I think he's going to have a bounce back. I think he's too arrogant and he's got too much of an ego to go out as badly as he went out last year.
Well, he still had 900 yards and finished like wide receiver number 4, tight end 4.
He sucked. He was shite. He was embarrassing to watch.
A terrible year at tight end 4. I mean, that's something, right?
But for him and his standards, of course it is. And is it likely? I think he's got the Ravens tight end 1. Martin might be able to give a better thing on that. But after how Mark Andrews finished, teams don't forget shit what people do wrong, especially with how bad he did it and the comments he made. I just think they're going to look at it this offseason, and as long as Likely comes in and improved a bit, he's younger, he's more athletic at this point. I feel like Likely's going to end up being the one.
Well,
and start taking.
Pez, at this time, I am reminded about what Meatloaf said, the great singer.
Fuck's sake.
3 out of 6 ain't bad, but this is not a playoff team.
Oh, I disagree. See if Robadunze is good this season, this is definitely a playoff team. Because then he'll find one of these.
Bears! It's the Bears, man!
No, I do. This is
Burden and Loveland and Swift. And, I mean, who is going to be the number 1 star on the Bears?
But Pork, you look at all the teams we've been looking at, right? They've always had 1 or 2 really weak positions. This team it's got there's not like a standout weak position in this team, and 6 teams have got to make the playoffs. I think this will be a playoff team, especially if Romadunze shows up.
I'm interested. We are going to go back at the end of the episode and say yes or no. We have our 6 and Let's go to the next team, Johnny. D-Love 8. Jared Goff, McCarthy. I like it. Why not? Barkley, Jacobs, Kamara. Wow. That is a running back room that Duke Mueller would love. IDP. Wow. Okirke, which was number 2 like 3 years ago and number 1 last year, I think, or reverse or something. Buda Baker at 18. Why not? Wide receiver. Bukaki, okay. Judy, sure. Ridley was your sleeper guy. Ayuk, I don't know why he drafted him in the 10th round. He's going to be missing half the season, I think. Kirk in 13, maybe. Tight end. Okay, sure. Martin, thoughts?
Other than my own team, obviously, this is my favourite team so far. I think this is a great team. The running back rooms, I really like it. Barkley, Jacobs, Kamara, brilliant. Wide receiver room, I mean, yeah, Ayuk, you're unsure of. Judy, we kind of don't know. But I think between Ridley and Kirk, there's enough stability there until it finds itself out. Like Lad McConkey was brilliant last year. So that's a great pick. The tight end room, Evan Ingram, you chuck him in and he'll be fine. And then if Kraft or Taylor end up doing better, great. If they don't, all right. I think this is as a base. This is like the most solid team we've seen so far. Like every position group is good
right now,
or
this
better.
is your winner as of now. Interesting. Pez, what do you think?
My concern with this is JJ McCarthy could be anything. Like, I feel like he's probably really good in that team just because who the head coach is. They prove what they did with Sam Darnold. Like, he makes things, he's a bit like a Shanahan, isn't he? Like, he makes things comfortable for the quarterback. Jared Goff, obviously, he puts points up, but my concern is with the thinning out of that O-line this offseason, if that O-line, the pieces they've brought in to replace, if they are not up to scratch and he starts getting harassed more than what he has done, you might start seeing some of that pumpkin Goff coming back out, and that could blow up in his face a little bit. Other than that, like, I like his three running backs, like Barkley, Jacobs, Kamara, like all them three. Lad had a great year last year, but he's kind of getting a bit more competition this year. Like last year, whatever Quinton Johnson did, they just kept on going to him. It's like Herbert really liked him and wanted to like prove that he is a good outside receiver. And then you bring Trey Harrison, so his lads' work going to get thinned out a little bit with a bit more of a receiving group there. Like, but as we speak right now, he's got Ladd, Judy, and Ridley, who are 3 wide receiver ones for their team. So, with that being said, as my dog decides to act, she's barking at something. I think the player, his IDPs where he got them are brilliant. Like, I always say, anyone who doesn't know IDP, my advice is linebacker. But you also, if you've got a free roaming safety like a Buda Baker, the points he can put up, getting them 3 as late as he did, that's almost like anyone watching going into Orkney or anything, that, in my opinion, is the format there. When you're in like a 20 round league, 25 round league, that is your format for IDP. You will find that you'll probably actually roll the waiver wire for a couple of weeks until you actually find your IDP players. So these guys like James, who took them in the top 10, I get their names are sexy and I get they may have done stuff, but you just really don't need to do it. For me, the sleeper of this whole team, with Johnny's scoring, you got to remember that tight end scoring is Mason Taylor. People need to remember what Justin Fields did with Kmet when he was at the Bears. I honestly believe there's no one in his way. He will be the starting tight end unless he gets injured. And I think he will benefit the most out of any receiving option on this team. And he got him in the 11th round.
I apologize, Pez. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, like, Tucker Kraft, at the end of the day, there's a lot of bodies in that Green Bay team, but there's not really anyone just fucking putting themselves above anyone else. So that could blow up in his face. Ingram could blow up in his face. Like, his tight ends could blow up in his face. But I think,
Ingram
unfortunately,
missed last year, I think, right? Tucker Kraft missed, I think, most of the season last year or something like that, right? Or at least a few games. But he or is that his Musgrave? I can't remember. But Mason Taylor could, again, a rookie tight end, though. Rookie tight ends take time. I will say that I love the running back. I love the quarterback. I love Lad McConkey. The IDPs, I think, are solid. I think your explanation of the team is spot on. I think it's a low playoff to a non-playoff. Not a solid team, in my opinion. Let's go to the next one.
One thing I would say about his team quickly, if he doesn't sort his team name out, he can get the fuck out of the league.
Well,
Johnny's asked him about 5
This is what they don't realize.
I know he's watching.
This is what they don't realize. If they don't have the team name sorted by the end of the week, I will choose the name. And it won't be D-Love 8, I promise you.
Dickhead 8.
It might be D-Love Dick. Who knows? Anyway, let's go to the next one. Oh, the ball-crashing nuggets or chiclets. Here we go. Kyler Murray, hate it. Justin Fields, hate it. Omarion Hampton, love it. Kyron Williams, love it with some exceptions. Joe Mixon, Blake Corum, IDP, okay, sure. Wide receiver. Pez mentioned hedging earlier. There's a lot of hedging here. And tight ends, wow, probably the best tight end room in the league. Pez, I will let you go first on this one. What do you think?
So I like his 2 quarterbacks options because from everything you're hearing, Kyler's going to be running more. He's going to get back to what he was doing. You look at what he was doing and his relevance to his points. That's great news. Justin Fields pretty much has got no one to worry about in the Jets. So he's going to be running around doing his thing. Love the quarterback room. Running back room, it's a bit like Martin said, like Mario Hampton on paper should be the one and he should excel as a rookie. But you just never know. You just don't know. Like Najee Harris isn't a scrub. So it might take him a bit of time to get going. But with Kyron Williams and Mixon there, he probably could take that, take them weeks hits until Hampton gets going.
For a second. Do you start Omarion Hampton week 1?
That
you have to because of the draft.
For me personally,
wait, Martin, I'm going to let you have your. Wait. Don't walk on Pez. Pez, if this is your team, do you start Hampton week 1, or do you do Williams and Mixon?
So, obviously, with pre-season and training camp, I'd make more of a decision then. But for now, I'd probably just go. 1 minute. No, I would do. I'd play all 3, just because. I'll get on in a minute. Is wide receivers. I think you'd have to play all 3.
Okay.
Just
so
because.
Wait. We will let your analysis finish on the running backs, right? Or the wide receivers. But Martin, 10 seconds, no more. Do you start Hampton week 1?
Yeah, I think because when you draft him, you have to. You're drafting him high, so you might as well.
Okay. Pez, wide receivers.
Right, so as Joe's mentioned there, that Cross-Key Merritt is actually a running back for the Commanders. So he should be over there. What kind of thins his wide receiver room. I don't know if he's helping himself out or shooting himself in the foot here. But so, St. Brown, sound. Ibuka, I personally really love him. Is he going to be able to get himself in between Mike Evans and Godwin? Like, Godwin's still out. You got to remember, Godwin's still out. As far as I remember reading, he was out most of last year, wasn't he? So the way McMillan finished, that's a bit of a dodgy pick, especially in a redraft. If it was Dynasty, different. Cooper Kupp, personally, people can say what they want, but like Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp are probably going to have a great chemistry together. He's going to be his safety net. He's going to be his little baby who tucks him in at bed. Like, I don't mind that. Hollywood Brown, I think there's too many mouths to feed there. Raheed Shaheed, I think, great in the 12th round because Chris Olave could hit his head in the first week and then he's done, and then Shaheed's number one again for the rest of the season. And I really like his Tyler Lockett pick-up. I think that could be the steal of his whole team in the 19th round. When he picked him up, I completely forgot about him. And then you put the two and two together. You think Tyler Lockett, you think how he plays, rookie quarterback. He's like a safety net. Is he going to produce the points? And then is he going to get himself injured?
Okay. So, Pez, I'm going to stop you there because we already know what you said about Loveland, Hawkinson, and McBride earlier. And I would just like to add something, if you don't mind. Lockett, Cooper Kupp, Sam Darnold. The players you mentioned, good thing that the chicklets are with the puddle chicks because the two of you are eating the same bullshit. Martin, what are you thinking?
Now, I actually like I think Justin Fields is a great value in drafts now. Like, so I like his quarterback room. He's got two more quarterbacks, around the 10th round, just after. I like that running back room. Solid, like it. I just think he's wide receiver room. It's just you need to start three in this league, and I think that's gonna. It's not because you have to start three. It can really kill your season. So that is my big worry for this team.
Wide receivers. Cooper Kupp,
Sorry?
is he a wide receiver 3?
I mean, I'm out on Cup personally, but Hollywood Brown is one of those guys who.
Yes.
I mean, if Rice isn't what we're thinking he's going to be, that is Hollywood Brown could maybe save him. But I think the wide receiver is going to be a detriment to the team. But it's a shame because I do like the rest of it.
Yeah, I think for the rest, I'm going to start highlighting players so that we can focus on that. And Johnny, we should remind Pez to mute his microphone so we don't hear the pots and pans rattling. Let's go to the next team. I love it. Craig! You have no idea, Martin, how much I love Craig. He is by far my favorite owner in this league. He has the most outrageous expressions of hurt, guilt, and anger that I've ever seen in fantasy football. And pride, might I say.
He is feisty.
He has his own fantasies of fantasy football, such as Jalen Hurts is the only quarterback he needs.
But if you're taking one that high, I mean, I agree. See, if you're taking one that high, I mean, he's only going to need one for the bye week. He's got plenty of time before the season starts. He'll probably drop maybe a tight end or something to pick one up. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But I mean, if Jalen Hurts doesn't perform well, his team's dead anyway. So he's only looking for a quarterback for one game of the season.
But I'm going to try my best Craig impersonation here. I got Jalen Hurts in the 3rd round. All I need is to get a quarterback on agency. And I can get any quarterback on agency for 1 week.
Oh, man.
Sorry, Craig. That's what I got in my Scottish accent. You can do your American accent.
Poor. So, see, this is why these streams run so long.
So let's not talk about his running back room. Yeah, let's go to his wide receiver room. He's got, let's see, like 20 of them. Actually, 8. Neighbors, Hunter, which is going to be perhaps the steal of the draft. Who knows on how they use them. Flowers, for me, I'm not high on Flowers as much as other people are. Williams, I can see why. He really started to shine, but is he still relegated to wide receiver 2, or is he going to overtake Amon St. Brown? Olave, wow, 7th round. Downs, Mooney, Dobbs, solid choices, in my opinion. IDP with TJ and Queen, great. So, Martin, I would like for you to focus on 3 players, and then I will ask Pez on 3 players so that we could perhaps move this along. Martin, if you can tell us your opinion on Flowers, uh, Benson, and perhaps if Jameson Williams is a solid pick. Those 3 players in particular.
Yeah, I was going to hope I could have picked. Well, there was one player I want to talk about, but anyway, I'll do Zay Flowers quickly. I've always said he's a better NFL player than he is fantasy player. I love Zay Flowers, can Ravens fan. I think he's brilliant. I love him to bits, but for fantasy, he's just not as good in fantasy as what he is in the NFL. Benson, it's just, if James Conner goes down, Benson's going to be one of the great pickups, eh? And Conner last season was the first season he ever stayed fit, I think. So yeah, so Conner, like if Conner goes down, which is most likely, Conner will probably miss maybe 2 or 3 games, minimum a season usually. But Benson will be right in there. And I want to change one player just because I want to mention missing Chris Olave. I just think it's such a wasted pick.
For Pez specifically, but that's okay. I will still ask Pez about.
Well,
Go ahead.
it's just because I just think it's such a wasted pick. And see the way the draft board was. See if he had not took Chris Olave there and he took a running back, his team would have been so much better. We would have been liking this team. See, that one pick for me changed the whole outcome of this team, and that's why I wanted to talk about Chris Olave. If he just took a running back there instead, this team would have been so much better. So it is a shame.
And one thing I would like to add, based on what you said, Roschon Johnson in the 16th round, there was actually quarterback starters still available that could have had a backup. So, Pez, if you can give some insight in Chris Olave, right? Travis Hunter, and perhaps what is going on in the Jacksonville running back room with Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. I mean, is Tank Bigsby at 14 a quality pick, or is it a wasted pick? If you can give us some doctor advice.
Personally, I think if Travis Etienne doesn't bounce back to the running back 3 what he was the year before, I think Tutun's the one who will end up taking the 1 spot.
Tutun.
Yeah.
Not big.
I think no, like I was just looking at the draft then to see who was left, like to give it better context, like Austin Eckler. There wasn't really much there for him, to be quite honest.
Right.
Like it is kind of like a flyer at the end of the day. His running backs suck. Like his running backs are dog shit. Like his running backs could make him the bottom team in this whole thing. Like he's got neighbours, Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter could be anything in this setup. Travis Hunter is perfect because you can play him IDP, you can play him wide receiver. So just say Jameson Williams or Chris Olave gets over his concussion problem and he shows the talent he had in college. He's got a flexible piece with Travis Hunter there, playing the 2 different positions. I agree with you. I don't like Zay Flowers. Travis Hunter could be anything. Brian Thomas Jr., I think, is still going to be the one of that team as he's a rookie. Josh Downs, yeah, he's shown that he can do it, but the Colts suck. The Colts are fucking shit. Like, it's horrible. Darnell Mooney, Mannion likes to get his jollies off on him. I just think Drake London's the number 1 guy there. So Darnell might have his games. 2 indecisive. Roma Dunze, yeah, get it, flyer, whatever. Fucking hate TJ Watt in the 13th round. That there's a wasted pick.
Yeah, this team really makes me conflicted because Pacheco could be again. People forget he was a 6th round draft pick. He wasn't a superstar to begin with. He got injured. He played terribly when he returned. Who knows? But then Benson, 2nd round draft pick, did nothing. Who knows about Connor? this team is very confusing. I think Craig played based on potential, not on past performance, and it could work out for him. It really could. If you read the comments, a lot of people like this team. So let's go to the next one, Johnny. Free Willy. Here we go. Bo Nix. Yeah, I'm a big Bo Nix fan. With Sean Payton, Bo could be the next Bree. Who knows? Caleb Williams with Johnson. That could be the next Goff. That's the top 5 quarterback. Who knows? Running back room. The only one, honestly, that I like is Travion Henderson, only because of potential, not because he's done anything. Wide receiver room, he has a lot of number 2s and like 4s and 5s. And the IDPs, yeah, they're big names, but they don't win championships. Free Willy is going to be more like suck my Willy because you ain't making the playoffs. Pez, what do you think?
Not as graphic as your way of saying it, but yeah, I do think he's going to be a bottom team. I think Caleb Williams will probably be his starting quarterback. I do like him with Ben Johnson. I do agree with what you say with Bucky Irving because I think it was Liam Cohen, who's the Jags guy now. I think it was his move to start Irving over White. I can't remember White doing anything wrong to lose his job. So you just don't know. The new guy might come in and just prefer White over Bucky. So in the second round, it's a bit like, just my personal opinion, I think it's a bit of a risk. But if Bucky does what Bucky did last year, then he's got 2 good running backs to start there. His wide receivers are fucking horrendous. Like, we were drafting.
This is the worst wide receiver room with me.
I had Manu, Lovett, and Joe all talking about, like, what is he doing? Like, what is he actually doing with that wide receiver room? Like, does he understand he's got to play 3? Does he understand he's got to play 3 of these guys?
Jack Beck, to be honest, could be a solid number 3 or 2 wide receiver. I'm just going to look down because, again, IDP. Like, it's personal preference IDP. But for me, going Garrett Wilson, going Myles Garrett. So just quickly, just entertain me because IDP's like, it's a winner or loser. Like, so Myles Garrett last year, 10, 12, 3, 16, 0, 11, 9, 2, 25, 0, 25, 9, 12, 9, 11, 19, and 5. That is shite production for an IDP, and he took him in the 11th round. Aiden Hutchinson might not even be fucking healthy to start the season in the 14th round. Carlson Schlesinger is a rookie who might not start. And then Brian Branch, who can actually round some points up. Like, Martin,
this whole team's confusing.
Give me 30 seconds or less, if you can.
Well,
much more than that.
Well, this was one of the teams that I brought up. It was the same as yours, Pork. I actually liked the way this was going until he started drafting IDPs. It was like he was actually drafting all right, and then he just took IDPs too early and too many of them, and that's what kind of killed it. But he was unlucky. I don't know if Johnny can bring up the draft board quickly, but where he took Bo Nix is too early. But the reason why he did it was because in the 3rd round, 4 quarterbacks went. And he was probably thinking, right, I don't want to not have a quarterback here. So Bo Nix is probably the next guy up. Problem is that, see, after Bo Nix went, the next quarterback didn't go until like the 10th round. So that's killed him as well. So you'll see it there. Bo Nix goes in the 4th. And then there's no quarterback until Kyler Murray. So he was unlucky because he probably thought, right, these quarterbacks are going to go. So there was a bit of that going. My only problem with the wide receiver room, actually, I'm quite high on Golden. I like T. Higgins. It's just Addison for me. I would have took somebody else there.
I've never seen Batch have a team drafted. I mean, normally Batch is a solid drafter. I like most of his teams, and he does well. I don't think he's going to be happy with this team at the end of the season. Johnny, let's go to the next one.
Panicked.
Sweat,
That sums that
Mr.
up.
James, the MC22, Emmett Smith, or not. Josh Allen, QB1. Okay, fair enough. Chase Brown, top 5. Okay, Chuba Hubbard. Wow, signed a huge extension with Rico Dowdle, Montgomery, Tracy. Maybe. Pitts, Ferguson, Otten, Komet. The 4 of them together could end up being a great number 1. Kicker, sure. Wide receiver. Okay. Again, this could end up being wide receiver room number 1 for the league. It does have the names that could. I mean, Jefferson, obviously number 1. Right. Harrison last year, it takes 1 or 2 years for a wide receiver. Keon Coleman could explode. He has that talent. And then you got McMillan that performed in Leggett that was a number 1 wide receiver last year, right? Or number 1 draft pick. The IDP, Micah, I think you're going to be disappointed in Micah. I apologize. I drafted him in round 5 last year. I know all about Micah. You're not going to get much more than 15 points a week, but you're going to get that 15 to 16 every week. Will Anderson, again, he's one of those explode or nothing type of guys. Bonito is the better choice. Bosa is worthless. Pez, tell me where I'm right, where I'm wrong. Can I give you 3 players to talk about? Yeah.
So surprisingly enough, you are. I'm just quickly having a gander where he picked.
So wait, while you're looking at that, Martin, let me give you 3
No,
guys.
I'm good. I'm good, mate.
Okay,
I'm good.
Pez, let me give you 3 guys. Chase Brown, Kyle Pitts, Marvin Harrison. What
Chase Brown, Kyle Pitts, and who?
Marvin Harrison. If you can talk about those 3 guys.
Chase Brown proved last year that I don't see why he shouldn't just carry on where he left off. I think he's got a bit more help this year with P. Ryan coming in. I think that's going to alleviate his load a little bit. So you should still get the production. Marvin Harrison, it's not his problem. It's whether Kyler can actually not just see McBride on the field and use him to his talent. Like, I think if Kyler's going to run around more, I think it's going to help Marvin Harrison better. I do. I think it will help him more because it's going to free him up a little bit to get on sync with Kyler. Kyle Pitts is fucking Kyle Pitts, isn't he? He's an enigma. He could be tight end 1, but he'll just be like tight end 12 as usual. One thing I would say on him is people were talking about he was injured last year, and towards the back end of the year, he fully got healthy. There's videos I was watching where he'd only turned one way on routes, and he was very limited to what he could possibly do on the field. And he put some good stats up with Penix. So if all that is true, but we've been here too many times with Pitts.
So what about Harrison? What are we going to do about Harrison? Is Kyler Murray going to explode with Harrison?
No, I don't think so. I just don't trust Kyler can get it done. I think he's too comfortable with McBride and what McBride does for him. I just don't know if he's got it in him to spread the field about.
Harrison is the new Calvin Johnson. That's amazing you say that. So, Martin, why did I not give you any of the big names of Brown, Pitts, and Harrison? Because I know you go deeper, and I want to know about players like Montgomery. I want to know players like, Keon Coleman, Chuba Hubbard. Is Chuba Hubbard going to be a 1,000-yard rusher again? Is Montgomery still worth taking with Jamar Gibbs in Detroit without Johnson? Is Keon Coleman going to explode? Martin, you're the guy that knows these types of players.
Well, Hubbard, I actually don't mind the pick personally. I just think there was guys that went after him that I would have preferred. Like I would take Kamara in a PPR over Hubbard personally. Like I think Kamara is like a cheat code, so I would have him way before Hubbard. What was the other two players you said? Sorry,
Hubbard, Keon Coleman. Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I forgot the other. So, Keon Coleman, if you're going to draft a quarterback, if you're going to pull the trigger in the third round and take one that early, it gives him a start. Things about Keon Coleman that they're saying they're positive about him. So actually, I don't mind the pick because he's got Josh Allen.
And David Montgomery I apologize. I did David Montgomery in Detroit, but David Montgomery I believe, he's in Detroit, right?
Yeah, he's in Detroit.
Yeah,
it's good. That Detroit is.
He was a top 10 running back before, right? So is he a guy that we should be drafting as a top 10 running back?
He was brilliant last year. It's just he's got a new offensive coordinator now, and it's how's he going to run the two running backs? Is he just going to be like, right, Gibbs, you get it until you're tired, until you're injured? What's it going to be? Or is Monty still going to be like, right, you're a first-time back, and you're going to batter the defense for the whole first quarter? Is that going to happen again? We just don't know, eh? So I actually like his running back room's really good. Actually, I would have took Kamara over Hubbard, but that running back room's really, really good. That's a really good running back room.
I think that 3 out of 4 will finish outside the top 20. I think that he has 6 wide receivers. I think 4 out of the 6 will finish out of the top 30. I don't like this team. Let's go to the next one.
One thing I will say about his team is he will not have that IDP room after, I'd say, week 1 or 2.
They're all injured.
Not injured. They just don't put points up. You just need to go and look at the previous years.
10 to 15 points a week. You're right. 10 to 15 points a week. There's no.
Sorry, there was one more thing just before we go. The Kyle Pitts pick, this is what I was saying about my team. I got Kincaid in the 10th. He's took Pitts in the 7th. I mean, I know which one I would prefer. I mean, I don't think there's anything between them. That Pitts pick really wasn't great for his team.
That's why we're focusing on players so that we don't talk too long. Johnny, let's go to the next one. Johnny.
The best till last.
All right. I am going to admit in the beginning, I am a Cowboys fan, and I will say I have generally predicted the success of quarterbacks for the Cowboys. Last year, I did not draft Dak Prescott. This year, if you can get Dak Prescott in the 14th round, you should do that every day. Dak Prescott will be a top 8 quarterback minimum. Great choice. CJ Stroud, sophomore slump, 17th round. I love Johnny's quarterback room. His running backs. Wow. Who doesn't love Bijan and Henry? Brandon Aubrey. Who doesn't love the number 1 60-yard kicker, right? IDP, I have no idea. Tight end, okay. Jonnu Smith was tight end number 2 last year. New team, I believe, right? Njoku, I have him on a few teams. He's not ever going to give you big numbers. He's going to be solid. So let's look at the wide receivers. Scary Terry. Okay. Hill. Old. DJ Moore. Odunze. Burden. Loveland. Right? Jacoby. Maybe. But Bowers is still going to be the guy, right? Khalil Shakir, Pez, do you like this team? And if you can you talk about Dak? Can you talk about Derrick Henry? And can you talk about Tyreek Hill?
Right. I will do. Overall, I'm trying to find a reason not to like this team.
Okay.
I really am. But I look at every single position, and he's nailed every position. His IDPs are two, they're consistent scorers in good double-digit points. His tight end room might let him down, but I think Sanders for the Panthers is eventually going to show the offensive threat that he can be. He's like a big body wide receiver. You look at his wide receiver room and you do look at him and you go, so you said Tyreek, I'll start with Tyreek. So you said old, but Tyreek, he's going to come to the season. Everyone's going to sleep on him in every single draft. I've been picking him up in the 5th round, and then everyone's going to be scratching their heads when he finishes top 3 wide receiver. He just does the same thing year in, year out. And even if Tyreek is old and then he doesn't have the same anymore and he drops off, he's literally got 5 wide receiver ones, because I think Shakir is the wide receiver 1 for the Bills. He's literally got 5 wide receiver ones there. He's nailed that. Derrick Henry.
You're trusting Tua. You're trusting Caleb. You're trusting the wide receivers in Buffalo that really haven't done. I mean, the wide receivers in Buffalo have not performed in top 10 for how long?
Shakir's probably been.
We're not supposed to talk about Shakir. It's Tyreek Hill, Derrick Henry, Dak Prescott. What do you think?
And Dak. So I was going to get onto Derrick Henry then. Derrick Henry, he's beat the stat, hasn't he? That by the time you're 30, you drop off. I just think he's showing no signs of slowing down. He's in the perfect team for him to have another great year, because if he needs a playoff or whatever, Lamar go and run the fucking ball. It's a great situation for him to have another consistent year. It doesn't worry me at all, to be honest. I'd say his quarterbacks. Do you know what? If I was going to nitpick and try and find something, because it's Johnny and we don't want to fucking blow smoke up his ass, his quarterbacks could let him down. Dak, we don't know what he's going to be coming back off his injury. And CJ, everyone's got this myth. Everyone's got this myth that CJ Stroud is this amazing fantasy quarterback. Well, even in his rookie year, when he had a really good year, he had a really good NFL year. He didn't have a good fantasy year. People forget that. People blur the lines. Them 2 quarterbacks, he might be a bit. That might be a sticking point for him if Dak doesn't come back and do the things he's done for fantasy.
So, Martin, again, I'm going to give you some under the radar figures. Ricky Dowdle got Chuba Hubbard. They signed him in free agency. He rushed for 1,000 yards. 20th round. What should we expect? Jacoby Myers, to be honest. He was in the Pats before and did nothing. He goes to the Raiders last year and he becomes suddenly this rejuvenated wide receiver. Is it something that we should be thinking about? And Jonnu Smith. The guy is as old. Well, I'm not going to say that. He's closer to retirement than he is to another 1,000-year receiving. Yeah. So what should we think about Jonnu, Jacoby, and Rico?
Well, with Rico, he's probably his last pick in the draft. Hubbard got that much money, and the age of Hubbard, I think they'll probably just run him into the ground personally, just because of those 2 things. So I think Rico is going to be the backup. But that said, if Hubbard does go down, Rico will be, for the last pick in the draft, he's worth the punt. Jacoby Myers, he's just as solid as they come. He's just a solid wide receiver. He's going to get plenty of targets for Geno Smith. I really like the pick where it was. And Geno Smith, the only problem with him is if he gets traded, his fantasy value plummets. So Johnny will be praying that he doesn't get traded. But, well, I say that. See, if he does get traded, though, I like Tyreek Hill more. So, but I just think Johnny getting traded, it kills Johnny. That's the problem. Like, I wouldn't like him in another team.
All right. So, Johnny, can we look at the next one, or is this the last one? If it is the last one, can we go all the way back to the beginning? And we're going to say just a simple yes or no. There's no explanation, Martin. And I know you love explanations. But, Martin, it's a simple yes or no. Playoff, yes. Playoff, no. For me, Martin, yes. Pez.
Yes.
Martin.
Oh, do I vote on my own team? Yes.
Johnny. Yes. Martin.
No.
No.
Oh, okay. Thank you, assholes. Pez.
Of course. The fucking king with his crown. I'll be there, don't worry. I'll find a way into that playoff.
I will say yes. Martin.
No.
Okay.
You fucking what?
Yeah.
Oh, right, well, fucking mother. That's because I don't do any trades with him.
I will say yes.
Oh, of course you would. Blue smoke up his asshole, so.
He's got a good wide receiver. He's got good running backs. He's got good. Yeah, hey, why not? It depends on injuries. No. All right, we got 6 yeses. So far, Pez has 2 yeses with Martin in his team. Martin has, I think, just 1 yes. Is that right? So, Martin?
There's teams later on that I liked more, so I don't like this team.
So that's a no. I'm going to say no on this team.
No. Sorry, Danny. No.
This one is no from me.
Yeah.
This one was a yes. I like this team.
I'm going to say a no.
Yes. No.
This
This is
is killing me.
Sorry, I wasn't sure what order you were going on.
D-Love 8 is going to be de-hating me later. I'm going to say no.
Oh.
This was one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite teams. I like this one.
Okay. You know, we only have 6 yeses, and you're saying yes on everything. Pez?
I don't know how many yeses I've said yet. How many have I said now?
Well,
Me,
Johnny,
Martin.
let's go back in the beginning. I don't know. Let's review.
No,
Johnny can edit.
Doesn't matter.
Johnny can edit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. This one, yes, because I think the tight ends are going to just keep him.
It's a no from me. I think that wide receiver room is going to cost them.
I voted already, right? I think I said. Did I vote already?
Well, vote again. It's fine.
I want to say no.
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 No. Yes.
I've got to. Can we go back to, because now I'm starting to worry.
It really doesn't matter.
I'm gonna say maybe the number 6, yes.
I'm gonna say, just because of my theories that Marvin Harrison ain't, I'm gonna say no.
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna say yeah. So I've got my 6 teams. Okay. Then
I probably got about 8, but that's fine.
There we go. So, hey, I hope that Johnny does his wizardry and is able to edit our videos to make it look like they are something that sounds intelligent. Martin, as always, you give insight to the players that we don't think about. That, you look at the late rounds and the middle rounds as your rounds. And I think that is something that if people watch this in the Orkney Bowl, they will learn some insight that will help them draft. Now, to be honest with you, I won't listen to you. Pez, Dr. Pez, as always, your puddle chicks are number one. We know that, especially with your love of Love It.
Someone's got to love him.
Hey, you are always the doctor, and you have given some insight on perhaps some things about tight ends, especially with Johnny's love of tight ends, that we should all consider. With that, Johnny, can you show your face?
Oh, there it is.
Johnny, and we would like to say thank you to Johnny for doing all this work for everyone. The logos for the teams, the things for the show, arranging the slides for the show. The work Johnny puts in, we should all appreciate because it really does make this league awesome to be a member of. And with that, I would like to encourage everyone to like and subscribe to Johnny's YouTube Orkney Bowl page. Martin, closing comments.
Just for something for people going into the real Orkney Bowl draft, there was one weird thing with this draft. 4 quarterbacks went in the 3rd round, and then there was not another one until the 9th. I would not expect that to happen in the real thing. So that is something to think about.
Pez, sorry, I was trying to read the nonsense that Ian was typing. Closing comments.
All I'd say with the show moving forward, for anyone watching thinking, fuck me, they've been chatting shit for 2 hours, we're not going to be going on a normal show when we get going, when training camp starts in a couple of weeks. We're not going to be this long on every show. So we're going to try and keep it around lunchtime, UK time, and we're going to try and keep it around the 45 minutes to an hour mark. So it's like, obviously, 2 hours is a long time for everyone.
Yeah, we did this because we want to we did do some lengthy explanations, and we on the show were able to defend our teams. So I wanted to make sure that each team got at least some broad coverage, and more than just 3 players on each team were talked about, because that's what I noticed. It was always the same players the 2 of you were talking about. So, Johnny, I know you have a sore throat. Yeah, excellent. With that, your pork will always sizzle for you and have smoke sauce to pour all over your burnt fucking carcass. I love you, and I can't wait to meet you. See you next time. We're out.